So how important was it for you to stay busy? Because, to try to, like you said, to try to stay busy so you don't start drinking again, like how important was it to have something to do?
Yeah, it was really important to keep busy. Otherwise, you just fall back into those habits again. You got to change your thinking and, your daily, routine to something a little more positive rather than.
All right, well, I have Jonas Plante here on the podcast, and this is the Carla Rand Show, and so on this show, we like to talk about health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, of course, physical health. So Jonas has a pretty cool story, and I met you at the gym, at Golden Gates Gym here in Edson, and I started chatting because I like to talk to people at the gym, and then I found out you had kind of a cool story. You actually were addicted to alcohol for a period of time, and now you're going to the gym, and you've been clean and sober for how long?
Just over 2 years.
Over 2 years.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, January 14th, 2020 is when I quit.
Okay.
So now it's February 2022, but yeah, it was quite the thing to be addicted to alcohol. It was something that creeps up on a person, really. It's not something you want to plan or, something you don't plan, actually.
Right, it just kind of happens. So tell me, I kind of want to know how it happened, how you got into it. So tell us a little bit about kind of where you grew up, how you grew up, and then what got you into.
Yeah, well, I grew up in Marlborough. It's just 15 minutes west of Edson.
So very small town, Alberta.
Yeah, a little hamlet, a lot of family there, a couple friends. But yeah, there was the norm. I watched, my grandparents drank, my parents drank, so it was pretty common to see people drinking all the time. So grew up, it was kind of the norm, and then just bush parties and house parties in the high school, right? So, and then then I got out on my own and moved to Red Deer for about 3 years, doing construction there, drywalling and stuff like that. But it was just kind of a lifestyle for me, just growing up. And
so it just started kind of we're all just doing it here, have a drink, and then you just kind of have it.
Work and then have some beers after work, and it's just kind of just how it was.
I think that's how a lot of people start.
Yeah.
It's nobody intends to be I'm going to go become an alcoholic.
Yeah,
it's just we'll have a drink here, have a drink there, whatever.
Yeah.
So when did it get to the point where you kind of thought, this might be a problem? How did you know that maybe it was getting to be a problem?
Well, when I started hiding it was one thing. Tell your wife you're only having a few beers, but it's usually ends up being more. Or you go out and we go to a friend's place, and there's always alcohol around. So it was just having a few beers and then that's it. But it turned out to be an all night thing, or get caught up in the moment of bonfires or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, and then I broke my hand in 2019 in January. So I broke my hand.
How'd you break your hand?
I punched the wall.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I was angry. I was mad. Yeah, I was always drinking and punched the wall. But so it was 6 months I was off work before I got the okay to go back, and that's when I really started drinking a lot. Because what do you do, right? Working, so.
Yeah, it's not like you're a tap dancer.
Yeah.
You use your hands all the time because you work construction, you build things, right?
That's
so
right.
Not having the use of your hand, what do you do, right?
Right. So I just kind of got into a pity party with myself and started drinking a lot. Then my wife she obviously saw that and didn't really like it. So then I spent a lot of time on the couch by myself, sleeping on the couch and drinking alone. And I was never really a violent drunk. I just drank to escape, I guess. And then my marriage wasn't the best either at the time, and then that made it worse. And so it just kind of snowballed into, my wife doesn't like me because I drink because my wife doesn't like me. It's just back and forth kind of thing.
Cycle.
So it was this vicious cycle. And then in 2019 of November, I got impaired. I got pulled over, and you blow over, you barely blow over, or you totally blow over. It doesn't matter. You still blow over, right? So I barely blew over. It was still an impaired. So I was still impaired, legally impaired. So lost my license, and then had another pity party. So then I drank really hard for about 2 months. My wife asked me to leave. I went to live with my mom, and that was November. So November, December, and then I was drinking about up to 2 6 of vodka a day, straight. Functioning alcoholic. I was a functioning alcoholic for a long time.
What, like, did you ever have, any kind of blackout experience, or you couldn't remember things, or did that
No,
not?
yeah, all the time. I
Oh,
just
okay.
drank to just forget. After my
Right.
period, it was even worse, right? So I just lost all hope and kept drinking and drinking and
And you probably knew, like, you think, man, I'm drinking a lot of, like, this isn't good for me, but you're
yeah,
just like, I don't care anymore.
yeah. I just didn't care.
Yeah.
I just gave up really.
Yeah.
And it's just you lose everything. I lost everything, my family, my self-respect, everything, right? I had a lot of support even though when I was drinking, but still I couldn't see it then. But
Because, yeah, you lost your ability to work.
yeah, I lost my job, I lost my license, I lost my family,
Yeah, wow.
lost a lot of things.
So it was getting bad, it was getting worse. And then
Yeah,
when did you finally just say, I got to stop drinking now?
well, I wanted to stop for a long time, but it just, yeah, I ended up in the hospital. I had to go to the hospital. It's like a panic attack kind of. I was like, my heart was racing. I was shaking. I was like literally sick. But I was always sick anyways if I didn't drink. So kind of withdrawals. But yeah, I was dehydrated, I guess. So I spent about 6 hours on IVs, and they gave me like Ativan to calm me down and stuff. And so then as soon as I went and laid down, they got me on a bed. I just told the nurse, I said, yeah, I'm an alcoholic. I drink all the time. I said, that's probably why I'm here. She's like, I was like, I'll quit. As soon as I leave here, I'll quit. She's like, well, probably shouldn't just quit because you can shock your body and really do some damage or maybe die or whatever, right? Like it was that bad. Like my organs hurt. My body just hurt all the time. So after that, I came home, and then like my sister married he's an EMT, so they came out and we came up with a plan, like a game plan to wean me off alcohol for 2 weeks. So it started out like drink a Mickey of vodka and 6 beers the first day, and then a Mickey and five the next, and so on, right? So I got to about 9 days of that, and then I felt I could kind of shut it down, and I did. It was hard. 2 weeks of withdrawals was pretty bad.
Explain what the withdrawals are like.
Yeah, it was really hard. My
Like, is it
body,
pain? Is it.
yeah, like my joints felt like they're twisting, like all like my elbows and everywhere, right? Sweats, kind of hard to sleep. Um, just my organs, like it felt like somebody's just punching like my kidneys and stuff. Like it was just,
Oh, no.
yeah, and headaches and like I say, hard to sleep. So, but all it took was another drink to stop it all. But I pushed through, and then every day got a little bit better, a little bit easier. And then COVID, that was 2020. I quit. Like I started that quitting January 14th is when I officially stopped drinking. So then I had to do something, right? And while I was still working, I was pipelining with my brother. He got me a job pipelining with him. So, and then, so we were up in Grand Prairie. That was about March. And then that's when the whole world shut down with COVID. So I was like,
You're like, oh, after all this, I can't do anything
yeah,
anyways.
exactly, right? It's like,
Yeah.
so then I started like trying to keep a routine, get up, like set my alarm every day for about 7, get up around 8 or 9, depending. And then I started walking a little bit, 10, 15 minutes, shoveling snow, walking, trying to keep active, trying to keep busy, right? So I don't start drinking again.
So how
Um,
important was it for you to stay busy? Because, to try to, like you said, to try to stay busy so you don't start drinking again, like how important was it to have something to do, I guess?
it was really important to keep busy. Otherwise, you just fall back into those habits again. You got to change your thinking and your daily routine to something a little more positive rather than trying to play the pity game like I was for a long time, right?
Right.
Like the
Maybe like almost like a victim mentality, like, oh, I'm stuck in this. Life's so hard right now. And so when you get in that place, then it's almost like you become hopeless, eh? Like
yeah,
you.
just
Yeah.
it was just never ending. I was in a really dark place. I just get blackout drunk every night. I still got up and went to work, but I was just
Hmm.
still functioning like I was an alcoholic. It was
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really hard to realize it. Like I knew I had a problem, but it took me a while to realize that I was an alcoholic, like a functioning alcoholic. Like because I used to think, well, after work I'll go have a couple of beers at the pub, and then I'll go grab some beer and go home. But at least I'm at home drinking, right?
Yeah.
Like I thought of it that way for a long time, where I'm not out, trying to hit on waitresses or whatever. Right? I had a few beers and I'm on my way home. So, but you're still drinking. So it took me a long time to realize that, it doesn't matter if you're drinking at a pub or at home or wherever, you're still drinking.
Right.
So, and it needs to stop, right?
Right.
So that was, I tried AA, did online, some bunch of reading online, like different websites and stuff for sober living, but it's just a need to, you really want to first, and then you can start making that transition to stopping, right? To finding something that works.
How many people do you think struggle with it? Like, I mean, like, do you think there's a lot of people that are probably actually addicts and they don't even really realize it, or at least they don't want to admit it?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that they don't want to see, like, they get frustrated. They want to have like glass of wine or whatever, right? They always got to involve alcohol with, or even drugs, whatever
Yeah.
helps them cope. But yeah, for me it was, alcohol was I never really did drugs at all. Like I watched a lot of family go down because of it, but so that kind of scared me away from doing drugs. But alcohol was always around. It was
It's a social thing.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's what people say. It's social, and that's I think how it starts. It starts, I think, often, right? Like just kind of fitting in and just kind of doing what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
And then for you, it became like an escape. It was a way. Yeah.
Just a way to get.
Yeah. So, what has changed in your mind and your thoughts process from being like, having drinks all the time to now being totally clean and sober? What have you noticed is different for you? Whether physically, mentally, whatever.
Yeah, no, mentally it's, dealing with everything, like day-to-day stuff, right? It's just like, when you get frustrated, like when I used to get frustrated, I'd just be like, whatever, I'm beer at 4:30 or 5 o'clock or whatever, right? So I'll be fine, so just push through. But now it's like, okay, well, you're just trying to problem solve better. You're trying to just be better. And for me, like the gym, I don't know. Well, I never really thought about joining a gym. Like
like what got you into the gym?
Dennis, like
okay, so your buddy.
He's always going to the gym. Like even he'd always go to the gym, and helps him be a little more active and stuff too. But yeah, and then found out actually a Golden Gains is opening, and and then we got befriended by Jack because we used to go to McDonald's and have coffee, right? And Dennis likes his nonstop pop, so that's why we would go there. He doesn't drink
Pepsi
coffee,
guy, from what I hear,
the Diet Pepsis, so we'd go there and have coffee, and Jack would always be around, and then finally him and Dennis started talking, and pretty soon it was me, Dennis, and Jack always having coffee out there, right, at McDonald's. So and that's how we got to know Jack, and he's obviously a big gym.
Yeah, he's been a gym rat. He's like, what, 74? And he's been going to the gym since he was like in his 20s or something? Yeah,
even before that. But
yeah.
So he started talking, went to Ashley's gym before it even opened and kind of talked to her. And so we all just decided, might as well give it a shot. And nothing else to do, right? World shut down.
Yeah, the world shut down. Let's go work out. So you've never been in a gym before?
No, never.
You never, but you kind of thought maybe this is a good idea because you're trying to kind of, live a good life too, and maybe, find other things to do. So you talked to your friend Dennis. He's like, let's go to the gym. Yeah. So what was your first thought when you kind of got into the gym? Were you nervous?
So it's like, I don't know how these machines work. So my first couple of weeks, I was just doing the treadmill.
Was I there your first couple of weeks? Because I see you kind of, I was doing the classes, yeah.
The camera stuff there. Yeah, I did camera lady here. But I was just doing the treadmill, and then I wasn't really looking to get into the weights, but, and then, everybody wants to be a little bit healthier, lose a little bit of weight, or, everybody has their own reasons for the gym. And mine was, to lose a little bit of weight and then to be, a little bit stronger, like work muscles that, I haven't worked for a while because, work is, been shut down all the time, right, with COVID. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's the reason I joined the gym, was just to be a healthier person, right? I got 5 kids and they're getting harder to keep up with, so.
Right, they're gonna take you pretty soon.
Well, with baseball, especially in the summer, I don't. They do a lot of hockey, but I don't do much hockey. But baseball,
yeah.
I'd like to be there and help practice with them and get them, ready for for baseball season.
So when you went to the gym and like, so you're feeling maybe a little intimidated because you've never really been in there.
Yeah, a lot intimidated.
So you're thinking, okay, I'll go to the treadmill because I know how to push start.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I could do.
Yeah.
And also like just kind of get some cardio, get moving, feels good. You're sweating, right?
Yeah, sweating, yeah.
Yeah. And so then like, was it Dennis and Jack then that kind of got you into the weights, or did you just figure that out yourself?
No, they kind of, I started working out with them, but Jack, he lifts heavy, and I can't lift what they lift. Even Dennis. Like, Dennis is...
They've been at it for a long time.
Yeah, Dennis like 50 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've been at it for a while, and like I was doing it for I don't know, a month or so with them, and then I kind of like, I don't want to wreck anything, tear anything. Like my shoulder, especially my right shoulder, like my rotator cuff is kind of shot. But and for them, it's their knees, right? Their legs. So when I got like leg day, they don't like leg day. They like doing back and shoulders. And my shoulder, I try to take it easy, but they're pushing them. So then I was like, well, I told them, I was like, I can't lift this anymore, guys. Like I gotta start doing my own thing. So actually, my brother-in-law was around Christmas time. He came, we had Christmas dinner at my father-in-law's place, and I was telling him about the gym, and he obviously seen my post on Facebook and stuff, but yeah, so he had a workout that his friend or personal trainer friend gave him, so he sent that to me, and I kind of adopted a few of the routines throughout, the week, so then that's how and then what I didn't know, like the gym terms and stuff, like I just YouTubed it and Googled to get the proper technique so you get maximum benefit of doing, like doing a workout, right? Like lifting a weight or doing the pulleys so then I started doing that on my own, and Dennis and them were still doing their thing, and then I just said I got to do my own thing because, there's certain things I want to focus on, like more cardio and, still do some weights and keep out, like getting.
Well, it's hard to work
strength.
out with them too because you don't want to be changing the plates after everything.
Well,
so then you feel like you got to lift what they're lifting, and then if it's too much and you're hurting your shoulder, then you're actually going backwards instead of forwards. I always tell people like form is so important.
Yeah.
And sometimes lifting lighter and having impeccable form is actually going to get you way better results than just lifting heavy and throwing things around.
And that's what they like to do. Even Dennis too gets a little frustrated sometimes with Jack, but yeah, that was the thing too. And then I was like, well, we're doing backs, or we'll say we're doing chest day, right? Then I said I'll jump ahead and do this machine while you guys do this one, and then I'll just kind of follow around behind you, so you're not switching plates, right? And then Jack's like, oh no, you don't have to do that. And then then he's like, jump in here, jump. Then doing backs and on the pulley machine there, and he just stacked the weight. I'm like, man, I can't. He's like, just do 6. I'm like, why, man? I don't want to. I don't want to wreck.
Yeah.
So that was it for me. After that, I just said I set up a thing with Ashley, and she got me onto a better workout routine, right? So.
You know what I noticed too? Like, so I haven't been in a lot of gyms, but what I notice is there's this idea that when you go to the gym that everybody kind of knows what they're doing and they're judging you. And did you ever get that impression, or did you feel like the gym, everyone was pretty
everybody's
accepting?
Everybody seemed pretty, like they mind their own business, or, Jack likes to go talk to people. He likes to. But I just, nobody seems to, doesn't seem to be intimidating. I don't find it intimidating.
Do you feel confident now when you go to the gym?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I walk in there, I know what I'm doing. I know, what's going on and what machines do. Like, I know she's got a couple new machines in there. I don't know what they really do, but but I'll just have to ask. But it's it's definitely a confidence booster too when you can walk in there and just go to a machine there, start your workout, and I found like finding a routine too is probably the hardest thing to do to get started at a gym. Like you don't know what you want to do or what you like to do, right, until you do it. So it's like I'm still trying to find out, and it's been like 2.5 months. Yeah. I'm still trying to find my routine that I like to do, right? So.
I'll get you doing high intensity interval training. Maybe that'll be your thing.
Yeah, maybe. Probably not.
Burpees. Squat jumps.
Yeah, exactly. Those medicine ball throws.
Those are my favorite. Yeah, that's awesome.
But my overall thing with the gym is I just want to be healthier, be in a little bit better shape, so that and then like as you get older, your body wears down. Like my back gets sore, my shoulders, stuff like that. So it's just nice. I find that working out too, like you don't really notice it. Like a lot of people don't know, but it helps. Like with your back, if you have back problem, like the chiropractor I go see, he says the best thing you can do for your back is just walk. Even just walking is a big thing. So going to the gym, and it really helps me. Like my back hasn't been really that sore since I really started there in December.
That's awesome. So what's your favorite muscle group to work?
Legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the legs.
Feels powerful.
Well, I just and I don't know. I always liked running, and like growing up I was always like I did like cross country running, skiing, stuff like that in school. Like we got to join groups of extracurricular stuff, and I always enjoyed running, like long distance running. And then that was like elementary, and then in junior high, you got to be cool. So then I started smoking, and then that kind of went out the window. But yeah, legs. I think legs are my favorite right now.
Nice. So okay, so you've kind of done this whole journey, Jonas, where it's like, okay, you started, you were drinking, and then you were in a really bad spot.
Yeah.
Then you got out of that. Now you're going to the gym. You're working. So what would you say to people who maybe who struggle with addiction? So maybe right now they're struggling. They're not sure if they're addicted. Like, what would you say to them if they're kind of thinking, maybe I need to get out of this, or maybe I need to do something? Like, what's the first step?
Well, talk to somebody. Admit that you need help, because that's always the toughest, and people who need the most help are the ones that don't ask for it. Like I knew I was in a rut, and it just progressively got worse. And then find that support group. Like I had a great support group, like my family and my friends, and they were all rooting for me, right? Like not one person was like, oh, just come have a beer, right, or come have a drink, or like everybody. I think it's becoming a lot more acceptable to not drink. Like I noticed that like a lot of my friends are getting sober. It's just amazing how many people, suffer from addiction, right? So I'd say, the first is to realize you have a problem, and then try and find help, because there's always somebody that cares about you.
Yeah, you can find those people, and then to just be able to be vulnerable enough to say, hey, I'm having this problem. I really don't want to share this. I'm embarrassed. I feel funny, but like I just want to let you know, and then I'm going to try to, get some help here.
Yeah, because my first person that I talked to about it was my father-in-law, because he's probably the most non-judgmental, easiest going guy I know. And he actually noticed too, like because he lives right next door to me, so. But yeah, I could always talk to him about anything, about just anything in general. And then, I spent a lot of time with him. We go fishing a lot. Built a couple of houses for him, and so he was probably the first one that I really opened up to about my addiction of alcohol. And he's like, yeah, I know. He's like, I noticed it. He's like, but he never said anything, or he never harped on me, or
right.
But there's a few times where he's like, the kids notice you're not different. You're a different person when you're drinking, and it's true, right? But so then it took me a long time to quit. It took me like a couple of years after we actually had that conversation of me, him noticing that I was getting a little carried away, and then so I started with him, and then when I actually decided I wanted to quit, then all my family were all really supportive of.
I think that's the thing, right? Because a lot of the reason people drink is because they feel alone. They feel like they have to escape from something that they're struggling with that they don't want to talk about.
For me, it was my marriage for drinking all the time. And that was my scapegoat. I always found an excuse to drink. So regardless if it was marriage or work or anything, right?
Yeah. It's like people coming up with it's not exactly like this, but like people coming up with an excuse why they don't work out or why they don't eat healthy.
Yeah.
It's like there's always a reason to do something that's unhealthy.
Yeah.
Whether it's drinking or some other way that you escape, like some other type of addiction or unhealthy way to cope.
Right.
And I think it's like, finding those healthy ways to cope, because it's going to lead you down a dark road. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And it's not, and for that journey I took, I think I got out of it early enough where I never really was triggered when I was getting sober with alcohol. Like I never felt I needed a drink. Like it's like sometimes it would hit me, like when it's hot out, you're like it'd be nice to have a beer or something, right? But it's like smoking. When I quit smoking 14 years ago, and it was the same thing. It's just like you feel like you need a smoke, and after you eat, or it becomes like kind of a habit, right? So when you break that habit, then you got to beat, like, because when I knew I beat smoking was when I could drink and not smoke. So now drinking, I can go to a pub or a bar and have wings or something, right? And just have a pop, or and see like everybody around me drinking, and it doesn't trigger me, it doesn't bother me. But sometimes I get that feeling of like when with all the hand sanitizer, because I was drinking vodka a lot, like that was my drink, right? So I could smell that, and then I could feel like how it made me feel, and it, like, my body hurt, and I don't want to do that again. I don't want to go through that again. So that's kind of, I think that's what happened. I got to I was lucky enough that I beat it early enough before it got to the point where it just becomes like, I know a lot of people that stop drinking, and then they drink, and then they stop drinking, and just back and forth, right? But for me, I stopped drinking, and it's been 2 years now, and it doesn't have like, once in a while I have a dream that I'm drinking. I wake up, so I'm like scared, like I'm like,
right. Oh
was
no,
I drinking? I was like, was I really drinking? Then that for a split second, I used to do that same thing when I was smoking, right? I used to dream I was smoking, and I'd wake up panicky that I was smoking, right? But
yeah. So we're gonna wrap this up now, but is there anything else that you feel like you'd still like to share with people, either about addiction or, gym life or getting healthy or whatever?
Yeah, the gym. Well, the gym was good. Like, I just try it. Like, give it a shot. Like, I think,
Go to the gym. And if you don't know connect with me. I'll take you to the gym. We'll do a tour. I'll hook you up with Jonas. He can take you around and show you all the machines.
Yeah.
Show you how to have the proper form.
Yeah.
And teach you how to push start on the treadmill or whatever you need to know.
No, just don't be scared. Like, take that first step.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Well, I had help, and it does help when you go with somebody,
somebody or
somebody get into a routine, and then you can kind of branch off on your own. That's what I did. Like, that's what I'm doing now, and we still go. I go with Dennis and Jack. Still see them at the gym, and then after we'll go for a coffee, or sometimes we'll just go straight to work. But they I think just getting started and getting motivated, and it's so easy to get unmotivated, and then with eating unhealthy, right? Like, it's so easy to do that. It's just so easy to fall back into bad habits. And don't get discouraged. If you miss a day, like I missed today at the gym, I'll start again Monday. Same with anything, like drinking. Like, if you relapse, then you just start over again. Like, I've never had that, fortunately. So, but just stick with it.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing too. It's just because you may fail, or you may miss a day at the gym, or you may but that's okay.
Yeah, don't be hard on yourself. Start over. Tomorrow's another day. Yeah,
that's right.
It's always tomorrow.
That's right. Well, thanks, Jonas. Thanks for being here. Nice to have this conversation.
Yeah, it's good.
Appreciate you being vulnerable and just letting us letting it out, and letting us kind of get into your head and what you've gone through, and how you've kind of brought yourself through all of this, and how you're doing pretty darn good as far as your health and stuff goes. Right now. So, awesome.
Never too late to start. Never too late to start being healthy for yourself, right?
Yeah. Thank you for tuning into the podcast today. I absolutely love that you joined us. I love being able to record these, and I love our guests. It's been so much fun. So thank you. Please like it, share it, comment, do all of the things that you feel like you want to do if you enjoyed this podcast. I really, really appreciate that. And this podcast has been brought to you by my company, Power Fitness Online. So everything that we do locally with our workouts, with our group nutrition coaching, and with all of the other fun events and stuff that we run, we put all of that online. So now you can access everything, even if you're not locally, don't live in our area. So my coaches and I and all my staff, the whole team, we are putting so much work into these workouts. We're filming 5 fresh workouts every single week so that you never have to do the same workout twice. We're also doing group nutrition and personal nutrition coaching so that you get exactly what you need. And you know what the best part is? It's the community. The absolute best part is just knowing that you have the support, that you have the encouragement, that you have everything you need to succeed. So go to powerfitnessonline.com.